Hey guys, what's up? So before this video starts, a bunch of people have been asking for my Snapchat name, so here's my name and my code right here if you guys want to add me. But anyway, moving on with the actual video, today we're going to be looking at the 10 worst police officers of all time. Now if you guys watch the news, you'll know there's a bunch of really bad policemen out there right now, and I will be including a few of those guys on this video, but I've done a little bit of digging and I found that some cops from the last 10 to 20 years are even worse. You guys won't believe some of the things that these cops have done, so definitely drop a like if you enjoy. Let's aim for 4,000 likes on this video because it really does help me out. But anyway, coming in at number 10 we have Manuel Pardo. Now this one is a little bit old, but it's so insane I had to include this guy. So this guy was a Navy veteran, but he ended up going into police work and then eventually got to the highest rank of his patrol. But in 1981 he got kicked out of that patrol and demoted because he was found to be writing fake parking tickets. And there you have it, he's a really bad guy. Nah, I'm just kidding guys. What he did after he got demoted was the insane thing. He basically went mad with his power, and a combination of that and getting demoted from a job he loved made him so angry because he was getting paid less, and then the guy started to just kill people. You know, as everyone does when they're not happy, just go and kill a bunch of people. But anyway, he used to break into people's homes, kill them, and then rob them. And in fact, he did this to 9 different people over the course of just 2 months. He killed 6 men and 3 women and took photographs of their dead bodies. He then put these photos into a diary with a bunch of news clippings about his murders. That's right, this guy actually took pride in being so fucked up. After he was caught, the police found loads of Nazi stuff in his house, so no wonder he killed all those people. The guy was literally a neo-Nazi. So coming up next we have Antoinette Frank. Now I'm not gonna lie, most people on this list are men, but this one is a woman, and it's actually one of the craziest ones on this entire list. So in 1994, this policewoman was at a Vietnamese restaurant called Kim Ang. She was with her boyfriend, and then all of a sudden they had the bright idea to rob the place at gunpoint. It sounds like that scene from Pulp Fiction. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucker!
Anyway, they tried to get the money, but the staff refused to give it to them even though they had guns. But instead of trying harder to get the money or just abandoning the plan altogether, Antoinette goes and shoots 2 members of the family who ran the restaurant. The 2 people she shot ended up dying, and Antoinette was arrested and taken to court, and then she was sentenced to death. And she's still on death row today. Her boyfriend got away with it somehow, but karma came to kick his ass later because he actually got shot to death later that year because he was a drug dealer. What's really ironic is that just a few weeks before this happened, Antoinette was awarded the Officer of the Month. It just goes to show even the best police might be out to get you. But coming up next we have Eric Parker. Now this is a really recent case of police brutality, but this one is a little bit different because of who got hurt. Now usually it's a young black guy, which is really sad, but this one is really sad too. So in 2015, a police officer called Eric Parker was driving around a neighborhood in Alabama in America because someone called the police saying they'd seen a suspicious looking man. So Eric saw this guy called Shibahi who was 60 years old and Indian, and he obviously wasn't the suspicious guy the person on the phone was talking about, but even so, Eric went up to him with 2 other police officers and asked for his ID. But Shibahi was just visiting his son and he couldn't speak any English at all, and he was just trying to explain this to Eric. But Eric thought he was resisting arrest, so naturally he threw him face down onto the sidewalk after just 1 minute of talking to him. He then badly twisted the guy's arm and arrested him. This guy's a fucking coward for doing that to an old man, especially as he had 2 other officers for backup. Not that he would have needed them anyway. And what's really messed up about this is that Shibahi was permanently paralyzed by his injuries and now he can't walk. So yeah, Eric basically messed up the rest of this guy's entire life, and he had to pay a ton of medical bills, but luckily media attention and the public got involved and they raised over $200,000 for medical bills. And another thing that's really messed up is that Eric completely got away with this. His case lasted for about a year, but then he was acquitted, and he's back working as a policeman right now. It's so messed up that we have people like this just walking around the streets being policemen. Here's a video of him assaulting the old man. I can't show any violence or anything because I don't want to get my video deleted, but I will show you what I can.
Relax. Stop! Trying to jerk away from me.
So coming up next is Justin Volpe. So this guy is probably one of the most messed up policemen I've ever heard of. He straight up sounds like a character from Hostel if you guys have ever seen that movie. But anyway, in 1997 he did something really sick. He was called to a nightclub where he had to break up a fight between 2 women, and after he did that, Justin sucker punched a guy named Abla Louisa who was at the club and had nothing to do with either of the women. But Justin apparently thought he did, at least he claimed he did. How can you even know with people like this? But if you guys thought that that was the end of it, he started beating Abner with a baton and broke a bunch of his teeth. And then he took him to the police station where he strip searched him like fully naked, and while he was doing this he kicked Abner in the balls and started grabbing and squeezing his balls. But that's not even the worst part. He then got a broomstick and sexually assaulted Abner with it. And I'm not going to go into detail, but you guys can imagine. Justin then walked around the police station with a broomstick that had shit and blood all over it, boasting about what he just did. Afterwards this blew up in the media, and the only good thing was that Abner did kinda get justice. To be honest, I don't know what justice would be for having that done to you, but he did get awarded $8.5 million in court for what Justin did to him, but Justin didn't get any jail time at all. Is that really enough justice? I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments. But anyway, coming up next we have John Burge. Now this cop is one of the most messed up police on this entire video, and he didn't just do really bad things, he did really bad things to literally hundreds of people. So this guy was a military policeman, and he dealt with a lot of prisoners of war from the Vietnamese War, and when he was serving he committed so many war crimes, he tortured over 200 people. And after he was discharged from the Vietnamese War, not for what he did, but just because his time there was up, he went back to being a policeman in Chicago, where he did a bunch of bad shit there. He got into an argument with this guy, and then he arrested him and shot his wife and his friend right in front of him. And then he said that they apparently tried to jump him and he was just defending himself. He was also known to electrocute people with a cattle prod when he was strip searching them. He also did a bunch of other bad stuff like suffocating people with plastic bags and burning cigarettes on people. So yeah, this guy was obviously pretty sick and I don't know, absolutely fucking insane. And to top it all off, he was arrested for these things after a court case, and can you guess how many years in prison he served? 20 years, 50 years, maybe even life? Well, no, only 2 years. If you guys say the justice system works, then maybe you should think again. Anyway, he was released in 2014 and he's still alive today. And if any of you guys live in Chicago, who knows, you might have walked right past him before. Now that is just creepy as fuck. But anyway, coming up next is Frank Garnback and Timothy Lehman. This story involves 2 police, so it's kind of a double whammy. But don't worry, I won't be one of those scummy channels that counts 2 people as one, just so they have less work to do. But anyway, this is probably the saddest story on this whole video. And it's quite a recent one too, it happened in 2014. So basically, some guy at a park called 911, and he said he saw a kid running around with a gun that was probably fake, and he said it was probably fake twice. And what's crazy is that the 911 dispatcher asked 4 times if the kid was black or white before even doing anything. Like, why the fuck does that even matter? Now, I don't want to sound like one of those super triggered people, but anyway, I don't want to sound like one of those people who just says everything's racist, but come on. Anyway, when the 2 policemen got to the park, they saw the kid, and they saw him pointing the gun around, and then Timothy goes over and shoots the kid twice. And what's so sad is that the kid was a 12-year-old named Tamir Rice. They later saw it was just a BB gun, but by that time, it was a little bit too late, and the kid was already dead. That is absolutely crazy. I remember when I was a kid playing around with BB guns and shit, and to think I could get killed for that right now, it's just fucking crazy. But anyway, if any of you younger guys are watching, do not use BB guns in public anymore because times are just too crazy nowadays. So coming up next is Gerard John Schaefer. Now this guy was a police sheriff but also a serial killer. So yeah, give that kind of power to a serial killer and things don't exactly go too well. The first person he killed was Suzanne Place, who was 17 years old. He kidnapped her, tortured her, and then murdered her. And just a few months later, he did the exact same thing to Georgina Jessup, who was a 16-year-old girl who he buried in a remote island. But yeah, he killed 2 people, which in itself is crazy, but the main reason of why I put this guy on the list is because of how crazy the story of him getting caught was. Basically, in 1974, he was planning to kidnap, torture, and kill 2 more girls, so he got kind of far into his plan. He ended up falsely arresting 2 girls, tying them to a tree, and then he was about to start torturing them, but then he got a call saying he had to go to a crime scene or something. So he left the girls tied up for him to come back to later. But luckily, one of the girls was able to break free out of the ropes, and then she untied her friend and they ran to the police station. And luckily, Gerard wasn't there and they reported him. And obviously, when Gerard got back, he saw the 2 girls and he knew he was screwed. Imagine walking into a police station where you work and seeing the 2 people you were just about to torture and kill there. Now, but seriously, he claimed he was framed, and luckily that didn't work and he was sentenced to life. And he later got killed in jail for apparently trying to be a snitch to other inmates to try and decrease his prison time. So yeah, I guess you could say he got what was coming to him. So coming up next is William Leisure. Now this guy is known as one of the most crooked cops in history. He seriously sounds like a character from The Godfather or something. I mean, just look at this guy's photo. He even looks like an evil cop from GTA. Anyway, he was a contract killer for the mafia as well as being a policeman, and from the years 1976 to 1986, he pretty much committed every crime you could think of for the mafia. He did little things like giving fake parking tickets to big things like stealing yachts, murdering people, and stockpiling weapons. And he made a ton of money from this. In fact, he would sometimes sometimes charge up to $40,000 for some high-profile murders. And he also made hundreds of thousands of dollars from stealing all those yachts and cars for the mob. And after like 9 years of doing this shit, he was finally caught and sentenced to life in prison. And he's actually still in prison today. An ex-cop in prison won't do too well in jail, so I guess that's karma for killing all those people. But coming up next, we have Darren Wilson. This is a big recent case of police brutality, and this is one of the cases that started the whole Black Lives Matter movement. So in 2014, a policeman called Darren Wilson was on patrol, and suddenly he got a call saying a black guy in a white t-shirt had just stolen some cigarillos, and then Darren drives past this 18-year-old kid called Michael Brown, and he apparently matched the robber's description. What kind of a description is a black guy in a white t-shirt? That's literally hundreds of people. But anyway, Darren cornered Michael, and they got into an argument because Michael hadn't done anything wrong. And then Darren ends up shooting Michael 12 times, killing him. That's right, 12 shots, even though Michael didn't even have a gun or any weapon at all. And according to witnesses, he even had his hands up when he was getting shot. And this caused huge protests in Ferguson, which you guys probably remember. And the really bad thing is that Darren totally got away with this. He said he did it in self-defense. I don't see how 12 shots is self-defense. Okay, maybe one shot, but 12? Are you serious? In fact, even one shot is too much, seeing as Michael didn't even have a fucking weapon and his hands were up. But anyway, that is just a crazy injustice. Here's a clip of Darren calling the 18-year-old kid Hulk Hogan. Is this guy a complete idiot?
I just felt the immense power that he had. I mean, the way I've described it is, it was like a 5-year-old holding on to Hulk Hogan. That's just how big this man was.
Hulk Hogan?
He was very large. Very powerful man.
You're a pretty big guy.
Yeah, I'm above average.
So coming up last is Daniel Pantaleo. Now I wanted to end on this one because it's so topical, and this is actually the case that inspired the I can't breathe thing that's going around right now. If you guys haven't heard of it, basically in 2015 this poor guy called Eric Garner was selling loose cigarettes trying to get a little bit of money, but unfortunately that's actually illegal in New York, so the police came up to him and told him to stop, and he told the police to stop harassing him because he'd been harassed by the police so many times before. And then Daniel Pantaleo, the police officer, grabs Eric and puts him in a chokehold, and then he handcuffs Eric while he's still in the chokehold. And while that's happening, Eric passes out and dies. And the really sad and creepy thing is that Eric's last words were, "I can't breathe." And this caused ginormous protests all around America, and it was a big part of the Black Lives Matter movement that I was talking about before. Daniel didn't face any charges at all, but the city of New York offered Eric's widow $5 million, which she later refused because she said money couldn't make up for them killing her husband. Now obviously I can't show the full video, but I will play the events just before they get physical with Eric.
What? You did nothing. What? What did I do? I did not sell no cigarettes. To who? To who? To who?
I heard she punched some girl in the mouth.
The girl that you said was dealing with crack? I got witnesses right here. He got the camera and everything. I did nothing. I'm standing there minding my business.
She was here all morning.
She just picked up. I did nothing. I got proof right here. I did nothing.
And that just about wraps up this video. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you guys can vote for the worst police officer. For me it's Justin Volpe, just because I've never heard anything as messed up as that before. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching and all of the support recently. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe.